Welcome back to Straight Talk. If you're tuning in, we're having a discussion.
Lively discussion
about some of the recent things that are developments in the community related to the bridge, related to taxation, related to the tobacco industry.
It is all related. And you had made a good point about oppression in the community. Mm-hmm. The one thing that people need to wake up and realize is that this is our land. We have the right to decide for ourselves what and how we want it to be run, but we don't want to be stuck here, and we don't want to feel like we're stuck in our own process, and that we're stuck in our own laws that don't really reflect the things that we want to happen in this community.
And the thing is like if you look at like the the Canadian public, they're under the impression that we're given everything, that we're it's all fine and dandy because they're on the reserves, they're doing this, they're doing that, and we're paying for their health care, we're paying for they're not. You know what I mean? Every little thing, and every time we do try to make some sort of concerted effort to better our economic, become more financially independent, we get clamped down by them.
But look at the thing.
It makes the general population here very apathetic.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
because every time you try to do something, you get shut down.
But Chrissy, it's not just apathy; it's also frustration. It's frustration. If you see that the government of the day, the government of the day seems to continue to negotiate things that some people see. I mean, they look at it and they say, this is chipping away.
Constant chipping away.
What our rights are, giving away, moving the line further back in favor of the government. The whole issue about
but that's their point, and we know that that's what they want to do. The Indian problem, come on.
Well, yes.
It's a historical problem for them.
The thing is, too, is that we don't want to feel stuck here, but the thing is that when I say collective, I mean we have to come to some sort of agreement on what that means first, because you have very different ways of life in the community, everything ranging, from religious to traditional to people who are all in the middle. And those are personal decisions that every family has to make, and those are, how they want to live their lives. I can't say that you have to live this way and you're going to be okay with that. But I'm talking about the greater good, the bigger picture in politics. The things that don't involve personal
But people have to be informed. People have
they
to
do
be
have to be informed.
And they have to be informed on what the different viewpoints are. Okay, and one of the things is that's the meeting that I attended the other day. I mean, that was one of the things. I mean, everybody could agree on is that people need to be made aware, and they need to come together, and they need to discuss, but then take some
and
action.
Inform.
Now, one of the challenges that was made there was, okay, but are we just going to meet? And what are we going to do? What is the action that we're going to do?
So what did come out of this people's meeting?
There is going to be another meeting on the green space grounds by the radio station this Friday. And
Friday at what time?
In the evening.
Okay, so
I think it was
7?
it was
6,
in the late afternoon.
Okay.
Look, you drive by, you'll see the trucks,
Yeah.
you'll see the people.
Right.
Hit me up on Facebook, add me as your friend, and
call Brian.
I will update you on
Call
Friday.
Brian Delormier, okay, because he's one of the spokespersons there. Okay, and the point is, what they want is tell 2 people, tell 3 people. It's the old coffee table thing. To call your family, talk to them about it.
And this is the idea behind doing this show in the first place is to be able to discuss these things and
and it's opinion, and it's meant to be your, mine, and everybody in between, because Ross talks to a lot of people. I do, so do you. So when we come to tape the show, obviously we're having all these opinions
different
that
perspectives
are, I know I do.
But I'll tell you, one of the things that was said to me. Was that the perception is that by and large right now, the media, be that the Eastern Door, be that the radio station, and I'm not, okay, this isn't about bashing, I'm just telling you, don't shoot the messenger, okay? Is that people are saying it's only putting out one side. It's only putting out what the council deems to be the information that people need to have, okay? And they feel there's a need for another and other side. It isn't about warring camps. It's about, look, can we ever have a healthy discussion and debate about what the issues are? What are the issues? How can we expect people to say anything other than, well, you know, they're doing the best they can, if they don't know what the issues are?
Right.
Okay?
I mean, I don't want to get into that, like, issue about, like, what the radio station or the Eastern Door, if they are or aren't doing whatever they're supposed to be doing. That's not what we want to do on this program.
No.
But I think it's important to note that people do feel somewhat that there is a complacency in the media too, because
Yeah, no.
But there's
So-
also reasons behind that a lot of times, because there's only a certain amount of people that have the technical as well as skill to be able to do it and on a professional basis.
yeah.
So, I mean, you know, like,
But you have to be
Well,
careful.
well,
I know, but
We've been
but
running this.
no,
We've
but
been running this station for 10
Yeah.
years. It's going to be our 9th year,
No.
heading into our 10th year
Yeah,
of business, and we have managed to stay very independent of almost every community organizations. We run on local advertisements and non-local advertisements. Mohawk TV is one of the medias in the community who's managed to stay very independent. You know what? And I'm
You know,
not
and
putting
even-
other
and
media
even-
down.
and
They
even if-
probably think themselves the same way.
yeah, exactly, and even if they do it that way, they're burnt by association.
But look,
Let's
you know
just
what?
say it that way.
I'm going to say something that doesn't come out again, okay? Chrissy, when you talk about whether certain people have the technical skill or so on and so forth, and I'm going to be in danger of being cut this segment. But you know what? I listened
promise
to
not to
no.
cut you.
I'm going to be very specific, okay? Because I listened to the talk show last week, and a certain community member was on, and the host of the talk show took on the role of being a technician working on the consultation thing about the scenery, and not as a talk show host. Okay, now that's a clear example of somebody not knowing which way their hat was on in the role they were doing. That's not their role as the host of the talk show.
And don't forget, journalists are very public. We get criticized all the time. The three of us, Mike, you know, Jessica, we all have been through the ringer. So any other journalist, whether they're in another media or not, they're just as public as
And they're
as,
and
you
they're
know,
getting
they-
just as
they're-
hard a
they-
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, if we want to give them a hard time, we're all in this together at the end of the day. I mean, the main function of the media is to hopefully bring something to the community that they can,
Inform.
you know, inform. But we can't want you to think, you know, what you do with that information at the end of the day is really up to the general
But one of the
public,
roles we
but-
have is look at is I mean, we can hold the political processes to account.
Yeah.
That's accountability. People call that the fifth estate, whatever. That's opinion programs. That's journalism,
Yeah.
and so on. Whether they be the Mohawk Council, whether it be the Longhouses, whether it be anything.
But
it's that
any
they say-
government, any organization should be able to defend a question from the Fifth Estate.
Yeah, they should,
Yes,
and they need
and
to,
they should.
and
You know,
not
if
just
it's
on their
wrong-
own media, which
No,
I can't
exactly.
stand.
No.
Now, I see a lot of that
exactly.
happening though. You get counselors or chiefs from the Mohawk Council who will say, "I will not talk to the media because, well, I'm going to go on KTV I'm going to go on Chiefs Uncut and I'm going to answer the hard questions." No, you put me in a room with a chief, with a journalist from the local media, not a public relations officer. There's a huge difference, and you will get a whole
Or being
set
quite-
of different
you know,
questions.
it's
Well, you know what?
essentially
People
saying-
aren't getting fooled by that. Let's just put it that way.
But
Well,
think
okay,
some
but
people are
it's you know what,
being
the
fooled.
parallel,
It
make
must
a
be the wrong-
parallel
I don't know.
on that whole thing, make a parallel between this whole teabag movement in the United States and how all of those ultra conservatives, none of them will answer questions to the media. They'll put it out on their Twitter pages. They'll put it on
Yeah,
this.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's like this, and while this is again another tangent that we've gone off
Sorry.
in terms of the show, we're gonna get back to more stuff right here on Straight Talk. We got a lot to talk about. Come back.